My dear brothers and sisters. Oh, that word. Welcome, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to this morning stream. Welcome, my dear. Welcome, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome, my dear brothers and sisters. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. It is exactly 5 Kenyan time, and I'm very happy to be here. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Welcome, camera 1. Welcome, camera 2, to our streams. And I am very happy to be here this morning. And if you're new, subscribe and tell me where you're watching me from. It is 30th of May 2026, and I'm very happy to be here. And if you're new to this channel, feel free to be here, and I'm very happy. Welcome, guys, to these streams. Let us continue where we were reading, and I'm very happy this morning to be here. And yeah, any questions up to there? Let us continue. Remember, we are streaming live in all our channels. We are streaming live in this channel, World of Our Own, and the Chariots of Fire. We are live in all the channels. So feel free to be part and parcel of our streams, and let us continue reading the scripture. Remember that you can join our channels anytime. So let us continue from where we left. Remember, feel free to subscribe to any of our channels. All right, feel free to subscribe to any of our channels. I'm very happy this morning. I want to welcome you to my channel, World of Our Own, and the Chariots of Fire. So if you're new to this channel, feel free to be part of our streams, and I'm very happy to welcome you. So today we'll continue reading. If you have any questions, you can ask me your questions in the comment section below. And I'll be very happy to respond to your questions, all right? So we'll be here for just 1 hour. Welcome, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to my channel, the Chariots of Fire, and also welcome to both of my channels. It's Saturday, and this is the day we have been waiting for, the final day of the UEFA Champions League. I'm very happy because today is the day where we'll really feast on Arsenal. I can't wait. Any questions up to there? You can ask me your questions in the comment section below. And even before we start, in fact, I was just watching news, and it was discovered that the fire was caused by the students themselves. In this, I'm talking about the fire in the Tumishi Girls Academy. I was very surprised that nowadays, young girls are conspiring against their fellow students. They are planning, and that is criminal in nature. Destruction, it's called offenses against property. Arson is a criminal offense. And, just like that, they'll have to face the law, They have to face the law. And I was here thinking that it was caused by an electrical fault, but it was planned, it was coordinated, during Eid, when the students went to to for celebrations. They bought, I don't know, they bought kerosene, pretending that they were sent, to buy kerosene. They came and burned the dormitory. It's very, very sad. In fact, I'm very surprised. And it's sad how, when we entertain negativity, it grows. Welcome to both my channels. When you entertain negativity, or when you entertain a particular thought, line of thought, before you know it, you'll be very deep. Right now they don't even know how they're now all arrested, just like that, just because of one single thought, like, hey, we're not happy with this leadership. You see, I don't know what's the problem with high school. That I want. Nowadays Kenya, there's a lot going on, so we have to think about that. Any questions up to there? Do you want us to start our read? And if you're new to this channel, feel free to join us every morning. I was a little bit late because today I said, I'll just go for one session for 1 hour only. You can imagine. And that's on the lower side. We're really, really doing a good job. Nowadays when I go for 1 hour, I feel like, oh, I was just here for 1 hour. Why? We're really doing a great job. I don't think there's anyone who's doing what we're doing. We're really doing a great job, and I'm very happy in terms of technology. And, and I'm very, very happy. I hope that we'll continue with this, with this, with the way we're doing stuff, I hope we'll maintain this kind of levels. All right. So you can ask me your questions in the comment section below, and I'll be very happy to, answer you. All right. You can ask me your questions in the comment section, and I'll be able to answer your questions. All right. Any questions before we start? Any questions? You can ask me your questions. And did you subscribe for us to grow as a channel? Help us to grow, and you can only help us to grow in both of my channels. That is, the Chariots of Fire, and in Camera One, that is, that is the world of our own. You can only help us to grow if you subscribe to our channels, every day. Subscribe to our channels and help us to grow. I'm sure will be, help us to grow. We also are, we're just a young channels. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions up to there? Nowadays, we were talking and they went, now Ebola has been brought into our country. And of course, I'll talk about that. I'll have to say something about that. I've been asking around, what do you guys think? Do you think importing Ebola is a good stuff? But you see, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we were, that we were told, these are, they say that all animals are the same, but some are more equal than others. Okay, so we will be entertaining these guys with Ebola. For the time being, we'll be entertaining them in our country until they heal. All right, yeah, that is the deal. That is the deal. we were told it's the art of the deal. The art of the deal. Kenyans were supposed to entertain these guys until they are healed of Ebola. They cannot go to America. they'll get healed here in Kenya. Welcome to the art of the deal. Mm, mm. It's very interesting because, um, but I know. At the end of the day, somebody is getting a lot of money out of this. I was watching, what people are saying in Laikipia, that they are not happy with Ebola being brought to Kenya. But I said, ah, you know, unfortunately, uh, unfortunately, I don't think. Okay, I'll not say that one because I don't want to appear somebody who is not sensitive to the hopes and the aspirations of Kenyans. All right, but you have to understand. Okay, uh, we're just about to make good deals, and we wouldn't want Ebola to stop the deals. All right, so we will say yes. Okay, I know the Katiba Institute went to court. Katiba Institute went to court, and and they said that it is unconstitutional, that the issue of Ebola is an issue of public interest. But I said, uh, at the end of the day, my dear brothers and sisters, I said if the book George Orwell wrote in the book The Animal Farm, that all animals are the same, but some are more equal than others. All right. It is unfortunate, but what can I do? What can I do? I'm just a simple young man. I cannot change anything. But if I were left, you see, let me tell you, we're in a very tight spot. And, you know, at the end of the day, they will say, we had our patience. We had, there's also a bright side to it, you know. There's also a bright side to it. If we get this deal, this Ebola deal, let me call it Ebola deal, there's a bright side to it. I know, what am I trying to explain? What am I trying to explain? I'm just trying to explain to you the Ebola deal. If we, because we are taking the risk, because it's a risk, it's called risk return analysis. We are taking the risk. If we heal these guys in this country, then we'll look good in their books. That's the bright side of it. All right. So welcome to both my channels. That is, uh, the Chariots of Fire and the World War On. If these guys come to Kenya with Ebola and they end up getting healed, then it means that Kenyans will be viewed. I hope. I hope that is the mathematics they're doing. I hope Kenyans will get, preferential treatment. I hope. I hope we'll get better deals. I hope. I don't know, but I hope. I hope we're not getting we're not getting a raw deal in this thing. Also, the bright side of it, we're going to attract foreign direct investment. I hope. It seems that those are the things, and we will get stuff at the end of the transaction. But also, we were between a rock and a hard place, because if Kenya had refused, then it means that every deal would collapse. At the end of the day, I want to appeal to my brothers and sisters. We are a developing country. We need the money. We need the money. We need infrastructure. We need investors, and all these things. We cannot allow. We just have to take the bullet for them, because we need the investment. All right. So that is, if you look at it from that perspective, then you'll understand the rationale why they accepted, they accepted the Ebola patients. Of course, they accepted that, you know, begrudgingly. That's the word, begrudgingly. We accepted that begrudgingly. We were not, we accepted, but we were not happy with the acceptance of the offer, because it was an offer and we accepted, but we accepted begrudgingly, because we felt like we had no choice. Like, for example, would they have taken the Ebola patients to Somalia, or which other country? Ghana, Nigeria? There's no other country for Ebola patients to be taken other than Kenya, because Uganda, if you look at, you can see that Uganda is even worse off. So maybe we should flatter ourselves. Maybe, yeah, we can also take this opportunity to flatter ourselves, if that is something to flatter about. We can flatter ourselves that we are better off than the rest of the African countries. So sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you will accept many things begrudgingly. You will not be happy about it, but you will have to accept. And in most things, I don't know. Officially, we are the first country to have imported Ebola. I don't know about you guys, but for the for it's called one. Let's take one for the team. Any questions? Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment, and welcome to this channel. Where were we? Where were we? Welcome to both channels, and let us continue. Any questions up to there? Did you subscribe? Let us continue reading. Yeah, I can see somebody did subscribe in the Chariots of Fire. Kindly subscribe to our channels so that you can also grow, so that we can grow. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? And ladies and gentlemen, I was explaining this theory to a friend of mine. I was telling him actually, before I came, that this fire of Utumishi Academy, it was something that was planned, according to what the DCI officers have found out. It was planned well in advance. And the worst part is the teachers were aware. Some Form 3 students went and told the teachers, you know what, they're planning to cause harm on the eve of Eid. And the teachers were like, oh, these are just rumors, And so I saw that briefing from the Teachers Service Commission. They said that they are also aware that the teachers were informed, and they failed to act upon the intelligence, because that was the intelligence it was the rumor that was going around in school. So you can imagine they're saying, we're gonna burn the school, but nobody was listening apparently. And the funny thing about that is, in such situations, what will you do? Because you see, the Teacher Service Commission has said that it will take disciplinary measures against those teachers who failed to act upon the intelligence that was supplied to them by the students. All right. So, do you think the teachers were complacent in their duties? Do you think the master on duty was, because I'm sure every school has a master on duty, right? Yeah, I remember when we were in high school, we had a master on duty. And the purpose of a master on duty is to go around the school in the morning, to make sure that everything is going as smoothly as possible. So you can imagine that on that fateful night, there was nobody in the school compound. Everybody was, I don't know where people were. Unfortunately, when they were burning the dorm, they're burning the dormitory, nobody was vigilant, nobody was awake. They only came to realize that you know the dormitory was burning when it was already too late. All right. So is it an issue of uh, indiscipline, or is it you know we have allowed the seeds of hatred to grow in schools? Something that I came to realize is that hatred is contagious. That the politics of hatred, the politics of how it travels. It's contagious from one person to another. The funny thing about this is that it starts with one person. One person. It's like Ebola. It starts with one person. You know what? Hey guys, what do you think? Let's burn the dormitory. And before you know it, people are gathering resources because they apparently they mobilized a lot of resources to buy fuel. All right, they mobilized resources. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Any questions? Any questions up to there? So I think it's about time that students are also trained in a way to let them know that their actions have consequences. Because now imagine 10 students, they have killed 10 students for nothing, just because of passions, passion, temporary emotions, that that will not really benefit you. One day I'm sure you will come and say, what, I wish I knew better. But unfortunately, they were carried. It's called the bandwagon effect. They were carried by their emotions. They were carried by their emotions, and emotions. Teenagers are very dangerous. Don't say teenagers are innocent. Teenagers, unfortunately, are full of uh, fire. You know, and if left unchecked, that is why, exactly, once they finish high school, they come out here, they join, gangs, they join, funny groups. They form, it's called groupthink. They form gangs. How did all these gangs come about? It's, once they come out of school, they say, they come up and say, we have to take over the city. And before you know it, they have arranged themselves in, they have procured guns before you know it. Right now in Kenya, you'll be very surprised that a 15-year-old has a gun. A 15-year-old has a gun. You start wondering, how can you even carry a gun? And unfortunately, you start wondering, how is it that this kind of they're so corrupt, so young and so corrupt. You're like, oh my goodness, like, why are you doing this? But you see, I don't know. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. We'll only stream. Welcome. Did you subscribe? I can see somebody called Mohammed from Yemen. Welcome to the stream. Very happy to be here. Also, you can subscribe in that channel. That is the the Chariots of Fire. You can also subscribe to the World of Our Own. And I'll be very happy that you've joined all our channels. Also, Camera One, welcome. Aha! So let's continue reading from where we left, Jeremiah 7. This is the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Stand at the gate of the Lord's house and there proclaim this message. Hear the word of the Lord, all the people. Where do I come from? Did you subscribe? I hope you did subscribe. Did you subscribe? Yeah, I want you guys to subscribe so that you know you get the latest. Sometimes I always tell people that in this channel we are, if kindly subscribe, Mr. VCB. Subscribe to this channel, and also kindly, and also you can go to my other channel and also subscribe. It is unfortunate. Yeah, hear the word of the Lord, all the people of Judah who come through these gates to worship the Lord. This is where the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says, reform your ways and your actions, and I'll let you live in this place. Reform. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Is the camera clear? I hope it's clear. Oh, okay. So I was saying that um, the youth, unfortunately, are I don't know what we are eating. Is it we're eating foods with a lot of, I don't know. Reform your ways and your actions and let you live in this place. Do not trust in deceptive words and say, this is the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord. Is the video clear? If the video is not clear, kindly let me know in both of the channels so that I can find a way to make sure that the videos are clear. All right. And kindly subscribe. I'll just be here for 1 hour and in both of the channels. So you can help us to grow. I want you guys to help this channel to grow. All right. And I need you guys to help us to grow the channel. All right. All right. If you really change your ways and your actions and deal with each other justly, if you do not oppress the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow, do not shed innocent blood in this place, and if you do not welcome, I can see somebody called Nora. So, well, did you subscribe? Kindly subscribe to our channel, all right? Kindly subscribe and help this channel to grow, right? We have a target, and the target is to get to, at least, I want at least 10,000 subscribers. Are they too much? I want both channels to get 10,000 subscribers. I want 10,000 subscribers in each of the channel. So you can see that I want both of them to have 10,000, and we are streaming in both of the channels. So kindly help me to grow the channels so that they can grow. They can get to a level where now we can exert influence, and also we can become more efficient, all right, so that we can have a greater reach to people. It is Saturday Kenyan time. It is exactly 5:29. Welcome to this channel, and if you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. All right, let us continue reading. And if you're new to this channel, feel free to join us every morning. If you do not oppress the foreigner, the fatherless, or the widow, do not shed innocent blood in this place, and if you do not follow other gods to your own harm, then I'll let you live in this place in the land I give to your ancestors forever and ever. But look, you're trusting in deceptive words that are worthless. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. I'll be here for just 1 hour, and let me know. Let me know if you are enjoying this channel. Subscribe and comment. Mhm. Mhm. Will you steal and murder, commit adultery and perjury, burn incense to Baal, and follow other gods you have not known, and then come and stand before me in this house which bears my name and say we are safe, safe to do all these detestable things? Has this house which bears my name become a den of robbers? But I have been watching, declares the Lord. Go now to the place in Shiloh where I first made a dwelling for my name, and see what I did to it because of the wickedness of my people Israel. While you were doing all these things, declares the Lord, I spoke to you again and again, but you did not listen. I called you, but you did not answer. Therefore, this is what I did to Shiloh, I'll now do to the house that bears my name. So remember that here we're in Jeremiah 7, and I will give a brief history of what happened. All right. Remember, the first temple was built by Solomon, and Solomon was warned. In fact, after the dedication of the temple, he was warned by God Himself. God came to him and said, "You know what? If you turn away from me, I'll reduce this temple to rubble. I'll destroy it." Actually there were conditions. It was like a condition, and he was told, "Yes, I'll dwell here, but if you go against, some of those things that we had agreed upon, then I'm going to destroy this temple, and I'll reduce it to rubble." All right. And eventually, when Nebuchadnezzar came to Jerusalem, when Nebuchadnezzar came, he took the king. One of the things that Nebuchadnezzar, in fact, the first time, he simply starved in Jerusalem. He never destroyed anything. He just took those articles and took them away, and also deposed the king that was known as Joachim. The second time he came, scrapped off some of the gold that was on the wall, you know, and he did not destroy the temple. He took the king Zedekiah, deposed him, killed all his children, and gouged out his eyes. And I don't know why Nebuchadnezzar used to do that. He used to used to gouge your eyes. So the third time, that is when he came and destroyed the temple completely. All right. And in fact, from that time up to today, that is when the Ark of the Covenant was never found. One of the things that Nebuchadnezzar wanted, and for those who need to know, he wanted to find out where the Ark of the Covenant was. So the first time he came to the temple, he took the articles, the gold. He never took the silver. No. He just took the gold. He never took the silver. He never took all the things. He just took the gold only and left. So the second time he came, and that's when he saw the silver things, and he took the silver and went. The third time he came, he took the bronze, all the things, and all the other precious metals and stones that were there. Any questions up to there? Feel free to be part and parcel of our streams and tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions up to there? So here he was told, and I will thrust you from my presence, just as I did all your fellow Israelites, the people of Ephraim. So do not pray for these people, nor offer any plea or petition for them. Do not plead for me, for I will not listen to you. Do you not see what they are doing in the towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers light the fire, and the women knead the dough and make cakes to offer to the Queen of Heaven. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe and comment and let me know where you're watching me from. Join us every day in both our channels, and I'm very happy to be here every single day. Any questions up to there? Let us continue. They pour out drink offerings to other gods to arouse my anger. But am I the one they are provoking, declares the Lord? Are they not rather harming themselves to their own shame? Any questions up to that? Feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. I'm very happy this morning. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. And feel free to be part and parcel of, wow. And I've just seen, you know, uh, a rocket that was just about to be launched from SpaceX, and it just blew up. And that is very serious because SpaceX is just about to launch its initial public offer, that is IPO, and it has just lost a rocket today. That is $100 million. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says: my anger and my wrath will be poured out in this place on man and beast, on the trees of the field, and on the crops of your land, and it will burn and not be quenched. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says: go ahead, add to your burnt offerings, to your other sacrifices, and eat the meat yourselves. But when I brought your ancestors out of Egypt and spoke to them, I did not just give them commands about burnt offerings and sacrifices, but I gave them this command: obey me, and I'll be your God, and you will be my people. Walk in obedience to all I command you, that it may go well with you. But they did not listen or pay attention. Any questions up to there? Feel free to be here every single day. Welcome to both of my channels. That is number one, camera two. That is this camera two. That is the Chariots of Fire, and welcome to the world of our own. I'm very happy this morning to be here. We'll be streaming. We started at exactly 5. We'll be streaming for maybe 2 hours, maybe, I don't know. So you guys, welcome. For when I brought your ancestors out of Egypt and spoke to them, I did not just give them commands about burnt offerings and sacrifices, but I gave them this command: obey me, and I'll be your God, and you'll be my people. Walk in obedience to all I command you, that it may go well with you. But they did not listen or pay attention. Instead, they followed the stubborn inclinations of their evil hearts. They went backwards and not forwards. From the time your ancestors left Egypt until now, day after day, again and again, I sent to you my servants, the prophets, but they did not listen to me or pay attention. They were stiff-necked and did more evil than their ancestors. When you tell them all this, they will not listen to you. When you call to them, they will not answer. Welcome to this channel. I'm very happy to be here. Any questions after that? We'll be here for just 1 hour. So tell me where you're watching me from. And if you're new to this channel, feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. So we'll be here for 1 hour. and you can ask me any questions while I'm here. All right? Any questions? Any questions up to there? Feel free to be part and parcel to be here. Any questions? Any questions up to there? You can see right now there's a big investigation in the state of Minnesota, and I will explain to you. There's a big investigations against the Somalis in the state of Minnesota, or in the state of Minneapolis. There's a fraud scheme where they're stealing from the state of Minnesota and buying land here in Kenya. That is why ECD grew very quickly. In fact, people are wondering, why is it that ECD, the state of ECD, has been growing very, very quickly? Somalis, where are they getting the money? So it was discovered because we were wondering, how is it that ECD estate has been growing very quickly? You go today to First Avenue, you see the best apartments nowadays are being they're constructing houses very quickly. ECD in the last 10 years has been growing very quickly. Then it was discovered that there's a scheme by the Somali community in the state of Minnesota. You can hear it's Medicare aid. They go and say, we are suffering. They're given money. We don't have food. They're given money. Housing. They're given money. You can see that the state of Minnesota has been losing close to $100 million to these guys. They came to realize that they were just milking these guys dry, and they come and buy land in Nairobi and making that bubble in ECD. Then it was discovered that they were just siphoning money from the state of Minnesota and buying land here in Kenya. That is why when a Somali comes to you, that's how they bought everything. They fleece Americans. They come and buy land in Kenya. That is how Somalis actually, afforded so many things. It was discovered that they steal from the state of Minnesota more than $5 million per person. Where do they take the money? Of course, they come to Kenya and they buy land. This town, and I'm telling you for free, is that these people were able to come to Kenya, buy property, and they actually increased the value of property. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. And right now as we speak, there's a serious investigation going on. There's a serious investigation going on in against the Somalis in the state of Minnesota, where now they are being investigated. There's a lot of money laundering. You see, women. There's another woman who was arrested. She stole $4.3 million from the state of Minnesota. And buying apartments in Nairobi. You see, nowadays it's very difficult unless now there is, it's very difficult because now the Somalis they discovered that they can, when they defraud people from Minnesota, they quickly send the money to Kenya to buy land and to do construction, and the hawala. And that is why you can see so many things of the Somalis. Somalis have been growing, rapidly, when it comes to wholesale business. 90% of wholesale business now in Machakos and Kitui and Kangundo, all these towns in in this area, they own, they want to own the market, and how did they go succeed in that? They're defrauding people in America. They're defrauding people in America. You can see a Somali buying land of 600 million. I can remember another deal. So you wonder, Somali, where do they get the money? The Somali community in Minnesota, they send the money to Kenya, and that is how they're acquiring things in this country. Any questions up there? Feel free to subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. It is 30th of May, 2026. Let's continue. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says: my anger and my wrath will be poured out on this place, on man and beast, on the trees of the field, and on the crops of the field of the land, and it will burn and not be quenched. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says: go ahead, add to your burnt offerings and to other sacrifices, and eat the meat yourselves. For when I brought your ancestors out of Egypt and spoke to them, I did not just give them commands about burnt offerings and sacrifices. Welcome to this channel. And, did you subscribe? Help this channel to grow by subscribing. You can also join my other channel right now. That is the World of Our Own. We are streaming both of them at the same time. All right. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe. All right. So let us continue very quickly. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions? Any questions? Do you enjoy our channels? If you do enjoy our channels, subscribe to all of them. So I was telling you right now as we speak, for those who don't know, there's a major investigation against the Somali community in the state of Minnesota. They have been defrauding, that state, in terms of housing. They would go to the state and claim money, healthcare, they would claim money, education, they would claim money, food stamps, in the food banks. They are in Minnesota, in the state of Minnesota, there are food banks. And the Somalis were just, unfortunately, and I'm not saying these are not against Somalis, I'm just speaking the truth, from the way the facts. And that is why there's an operation against the Somalis in the state of Minnesota. And I'm trying to explain what is happening. Why, Isili has been growing rapidly is because these people have been siphoning money from the state of Minnesota and buying land in Isili. That is why, 10 years ago, Isili was just a small estate. We used to go there to buy jeans. Now you go to Isili, there are good hotels. You wonder, what happened? Why is it that does it mean that Somalia is richer than Kenya? Then when people do the investigation, they realize that these people are getting money from America and buying land here in Kenya. And if you go and listen to those investigators, they'll tell you all these prices in Nairobi, in Runda, in Technology City, in Mombasa, how they bought the land, those are the proceeds of fraud. All right, they defrauded the state of Minnesota. You can imagine. So you can imagine if every Somali thinks alike. That is why they don't want to leave Minnesota. You're wondering, why is it that they don't want to leave Minnesota? Why is it that they don't want to leave? There you have your answer. Why they don't want to leave? Why is it that the whole community wants, if in fact you go and watch somebody who has been deported from a Somali, deported from America, they cry. Do you know why? Because they were used to defrauding, that state. One person will defraud the state of $4 million. You do your research, you'll see. They have been defrauding that state of a lot of money. And for one reason or another, they had leaders who are sympathetic to their cause. So, and also, they had a lot of voting power. There are more than 80,000, vote as Somalis in Minnesota. So Somalis can decide who will be governor. So it's like invasion, It's like invasion. I remember there was a joke that if kangaroos invade, Uruguay, that is a joke. Like, if you take all the kangaroos in Australia and you take them, you ship them to Uruguay, do you know what? Can I surprise you? Those kangaroos will beat the shit out of people. Kangaroos, they're boxers. People don't know that, but kangaroos actually they kick people a lot, and they know how to box. So if you have an invasion of kangaroos in your country, there will be human animal, what do you call it? Human animal conflict. And of course, for one reason or another, that is exactly what happened in the state of Minnesota, where the Somalis now they went and took over the system. They took over the voting. They took over the jobs, the menial jobs. They took over education, and that is why you cannot remove Somalis in Minnesota. That is exactly what is happening. Even Trump himself cannot remove the Somalis in Minnesota because they have claims. They say, our parents came from Somalia, but the children are American because they were born in America. So, but these guys are using their children as insurance, to continue defrauding that state. Because I remember I once met a Somali. I was traveling and I met a Somali. These Somalis from America, they are very rich. They are very, very rich. Somalis they're very rich. I can remember how they were spending money. They were spending money like water. Spending money like water. Money was not a problem to them. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. Let us continue reading the Bible. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe. So let us continue. So when you tell them all this, they will not listen to you. When you call to them, they will not answer. Therefore say to them, this is the nation that has not obeyed the Lord its God or responded to correction. Truth has perished and it has vanished from their lips. Cut your hair and throw it away. Take up a lament on your barren heights, for the Lord has rejected and abandoned this generation that is under his wrath. The people of Judah have done evil in my eyes, declares the Lord. They have set up their detestable idols in the house that bears my name and have defiled it. Welcome to this channel, and also welcome to my other channel that is, the Chariots of Fire. I'm very happy this morning to be here, and I always tell my friends that if your business is to eat a frog, start eating the frog first thing in the morning. And if your business is to eat two frogs, you have two frogs in front of you, you better off start eating the big frog. All right? Yeah, don't wait, because sometimes you say, what's happening? I have to eat a frog. Yes, you do. And sometimes it is not fancy. It's not a fancy business. You have to eat the frog. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment and tell me where you are watching me from. Any questions? Do you enjoy our streams? If you do enjoy our streams, welcome every day. Any questions up to there? Any questions? You see, ladies and gentlemen, Unfortunately, once you do your research, you realize that in the UK, maybe uh, in the UK, there is something called the border agency. All right, and these guys are very very strict. You cannot just they monitor the activities of immigrants, but in America for many years they were a bit lax. All right, they did not monitor every activity that these guys were doing. All right. So for one reason or another, the Somalis grew and they had peace. Maybe during the times of Clinton, uh, you know. All right. Any questions up there? Feel free to subscribe and comment, and tell me where you're watching me from. You can join this channel that is the channels. You can join the Chariots of Fire. Also, you can join um, the World of Our Own, and you can tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions? Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to comment and tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions? Do you enjoy our channels? If you do enjoy our channels, you know, and also I also want to take this opportunity to send my sincere condolence to the family of this man called Diblo Kaberia. All right. I am aware that he passed on this week. I want to send my sincere condolence to his family and friends. I remember, Saturday was not Saturday without Fred Arocho, Diblo Kaberia, and Mkala wa Mamboze. Saturday was not Saturday. And also, you can imagine, at Radio Jambo, they were doing a fantastic job. When I heard that he passed on, of course, I was not, I was, I was not, I felt sad for the family, and of course, the huge fan base of this man, and I'm very happy. But also, I want to just say that to the fans of Diblo Kaberia, support their family and stuff like that. Okay, any questions after that? Any questions? Cut off your hair and throw it away. Take up a lament on the barren heights. For the Lord has rejected and abandoned this generation that is under his wrath. The people of Judah have done evil in my eyes, declares the Lord. They have set up their detestable idols in the house that bears my name and have defiled it. They have built the high places of Topheth in the valley of Ben Hinnom. When you read about Manasseh, when you read about the valley of Ben Hinnom, the valley of Ben Hinnom was not mentioned in the times of King Solomon, but if you read the scripture, what was happening in the valley of Ben Hinnom, that was where child sacrifices. That is the exact place where the kings. It was a designated area for child sacrifices, to burn their sons and daughters in the fire, something I did not command, nor did it enter my mind. So beware, the days are coming, declares the Lord. The people will no longer call it Topheth or the valley of Ben Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. For they will bury the dead in Topheth until there is no more room. Then the carcasses of these people will become food for the birds and the wild animals, and there will be no one to frighten them away. I will bring an end to the sounds of joy and gladness, and to the voices of bride and bridegroom in the towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For the land will become desolate. Any questions after that? Feel free to subscribe and comment. I'm very happy to be here this wonderful morning. We're just about to cross our 1 hour mark. And every day, for those who are new to this channel, please read for the scripture for just 1 hour. So you can join us every single morning for just 1 hour, both channels, that is the Chariots of Fire and the World of our Road. All right. So every morning we read the scripture. Remember, we have a goal to read the scripture in just 90 days, 60 days. And I hope that we'll be able to do that in the stipulated time. Any questions up to there? At that time, declares the Lord, the bones of the kings and the officials of Judah, the bones of the priests and the prophets, and the bones of the people of Judah will be removed from their graves. They will be exposed to the sun and the moon and all the stars of the heavens, which they have loved and served, and which they have followed and consulted and worshipped. They will not be gathered up or buried, but it will be like dung lying on the ground. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. Yeah, you can tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions? Did you subscribe to our channel? Did you help us to grow this channel by subscribing? All right. Any questions? We just cleared our first hour. Maybe we'll start our next hour in the next few minutes. Or do you want us to continue? No, let's start afresh. Any questions up there? We'll start another stream right now, maybe for another 1 hour. And I hope that we will continue growing in the world. Any question? Before I leave, if you have any question, you can post your question in the comment section and I will be more than happy to answer you. Any questions before I leave? Any questions before I leave? All right. Any questions before I leave? Any questions? I'm waiting for your questions. All right. Let's just continue reading. They will not be gathered up or buried, but will be like dung lying on the ground. Whenever I banish them, all the survivors of this evil nation will prefer death to life, declares the Lord Almighty. Say to them, this is what the Lord says. When people fall down, do they not get up? When someone turns away, do they not return? Why then have these people turned away? Why does Jerusalem always turn away? Let's start a new stream, all right? Any questions? We're starting a new stream in just a few minutes. All right.